In the digital world, it's really not a matter of if you'll face a cyber attack, but when. So today, we're going to crack open the emergency playbooks that the pros use to fight back when, well, everything hits the fan. So just picture it for a second. The alarms are blaring, data is literally vanishing before your eyes, and the pressure is on. Your company is under attack. It's absolute chaos. So what do you do? Where do you even start? Well, the answer is having a plan before the chaos even begins. And that's exactly where incident response methodologies come into play. You should think of them as these structured, step-by-step guides that turn pure panic into a focused and, most importantly, effective response. They're the playbooks for winning the game against the attackers. All right, so let's open up this cybersecurity toolkit, shall we? First up, we've got the foundational playbooks. You can think of these as your essential, all-purpose instruction manuals, the ones every single response team needs to know inside and out. We're going to start with the heavyweight champion of the world, the NIST framework. It's all built on 4 really logical phases. First, you prepare. This is where you get your tools and your team ready before the fight even starts. Then, detection and analysis. Okay, you found the threat. Now you got to figure out exactly what you're dealing with. Next, you jump into containment, eradication, and recovery. You stop the bleeding, you cut out the infection, and you get things back to business. And finally, and this part is absolutely crucial, post-incident activity. You learn from what happened, so you're even stronger the next time around. So why is NIST so popular? It's actually pretty simple. It's incredibly straightforward, and it's become the gold standard in the industry. What it does so brilliantly is it balances that big picture view that management needs with all the technical details that the teams on the ground require. It's just incredibly versatile. Okay, so NIST gives us this great high-level map, but what if your team needs more detailed, turn-by-turn directions? Well, that's where the SANS process comes in. It takes a really similar approach, but, it drills way down into the nitty-gritty details. And you can see that extra detail in action right here. SANS takes NIST's single containment, eradication, and recovery phase and splits it into 3 totally distinct steps. Now, this is super practical for the hands-on teams in a security operations center who really need those clear, separate stages to work through when they're in the middle of a crisis. And then for the big players, the organizations operating on a global scale, there's the ISO standard. This framework is pretty much perfect for large enterprises that need to align with international security controls, especially the famous ISO 27001. For them, it is all about compliance, integration, and that global recognition. Okay, so we've got our defensive playbooks. But you know what they say? The best defense is a good offense, right? Or at the very least, understanding the offense. So let's flip the script and learn to think like an attacker by, well, reading their blueprints. And this is it, the cyber kill chain. It basically maps out the typical path an attacker takes, and it's a sequence. It starts with reconnaissance. They're scouting their target, kind of like a burglar casing a house. Then they weaponize a payload, deliver it somehow, and exploit a vulnerability to get inside. From there, it's about installing malware, setting up command and control to phone home, and finally, taking actions on their objective, which is usually stealing your data. And here is the strategic genius of the kill chain. See, by understanding these steps, defenders can jump in and intervene at any point along the way. The goal isn't just to respond after the damage is done. It's to break that chain as early as humanly possible and prevent that final devastating blow. Now, if the kill chain is like a linear, step-by-step map of an attack, I want you to think of the MITRE ATTK framework as a massive, detailed encyclopedia of every possible move an attacker could ever make. It's not a sequence, it's a giant knowledge base of tactics and techniques that have actually been seen out there in the wild. And this is where its real power lies. Security teams use this encyclopedia to proactively hunt for threats, to map out their own defensive gaps against all these known techniques, and to run these incredibly realistic attack simulations, what we call red-blue team exercises, where one team attacks and the other defends. It's a total game changer for building a proactive defense. So we have our foundational guides and we have our attacker blueprints. Now let's move on to our final set of tools. These are the specialized precision instruments that are designed for very specific, really high-pressure situations. First up is something called the OODA loop, and this is all about one thing: speed. You observe the situation, gathering data. You orient yourself, making sense of it all. You decide on the best course of action, and you act. And then boom, the loop immediately starts all over again. It's this cycle of continuous, rapid-fire decision-making. As you can imagine, this model is absolutely perfect for the fast-paced, high-pressure world of a security operations center, or SOC. This is where analysts have to make critical decisions in seconds, not hours, to counter a live threat. Next, we've got the diamond model. Now, if the OODA loop is about speed, this model is all about depth. It's a tool for really deep analysis that connects 4 key points of any attack: the adversary who's behind it, the infrastructure they used, the capability or malware they deployed, and of course, the victim they targeted. So the crucial takeaway here is that this model isn't really for that rapid, in-the-moment response. It's for the investigation after the incident. Threat intelligence teams use it to piece together the entire puzzle of an attack and build a really rich profile of the adversary they're up against. Wow. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, from foundational playbooks to these super specialized precision tools. So the big question is, how do you choose the right one? Let's bring it all together with a quick side-by-side comparison. This table really lays it all out. If you need a balanced, standard approach for your whole organization, NIST is going to be your go-to. But if you need a more detailed, hands-on guide for your SOC team, SANS is perfect. If you're a big enterprise focused on compliance, you'll be looking at ISO. To stop attackers early, you're going to use the kill chain. For that deep threat hunting, it's all about MITRE ATT&CK. And for those fast decisions in the heat of the moment, you've got the OODA loop, while the diamond model is there for that deep analysis after the fact. And that brings us to what might be the single most important takeaway from this whole thing. There is no single best model. The smartest teams, they know how to pick the right tool from their toolkit for the specific job at hand. It's all about being adaptable, being strategic, and being ready for anything. So I'll leave you with this one thought. Every single cyber attack is a test. It's a question being asked of your organization's readiness, and the only thing that matters is, does your team have a playbook ready to give the answer?